We're taking your bonus to pay off your brother's gambling debts, my parents announced at Sunday lunch. $31,000 should cover it. I nodded. Whatever you need. That afternoon, I transferred my entire salary to a new account they didn't know existed. By Wednesday, their mortgage payment bounced. My dad called 19 times. I answered on the 20th. Sorry, I'm broke, remember? By the time my dad said the number, my mouth had gone dry. It's really not that much, Derek, he said, carving into his roast chicken like this was a normal Sunday. 31,000. Your Christmas bonus covers it. My mom slid the dish of potatoes toward me like we were negotiating side dishes instead of my bank account. It's just a transfer, she added. On paper, you won't even feel it. I stared at the gravy pooling on my plate. It was 1:17 p.m. on a gray Sunday in March. Browns game murmuring in the background. My brother Kyle scrolling on his phone like this conversation was about someone else. 31 grand, I repeated. Mom smiled her reasonable smile. You make that in, what, a few months now? I'm a massage therapist, I said, not a surgeon. You're good at what you do, Dad cut in. You're always booked, and this is why you work hard. So family doesn't go under when someone makes a mistake. He said mistake, like Kyle had bounced a check, not gambled himself into a hole with a guy who apparently doesn't use contracts, just text messages and threats. Kyle finally looked up. I said I'm handling it, he muttered. You are, Mom soothed, by letting your brother help. That's what family does. I counted. It's what my brain does when it's trying not to panic. 1, the gravy boat. 2, the salt shaker. 3, the beer ring on the table from Dad's bottle. 4 people at the table, 3 of them waiting for me to say yes. How exactly, I asked, is my bonus paying off your gambling debts you handling it? Kyle flushed. I'll pay you back. When? He blew out a breath. Dude, I don't know. Things are tight right now. Mom jumped in before I could answer. Your father already talked to the bank, she said. We're rolling the rest of the refinance into the house, but we need the bonus to clear the debt with that man. She lowered her voice like the word bookie might stain the curtains. Dad pointed his fork at me. We're not asking you to do drugs, he said. We're asking you to move numbers between accounts so your brother doesn't get his knees broken and we don't lose the house. The reasonable voice, the this is no big deal tone he always used when he wanted something huge. I looked at Mom. You talked to the bank. About my bonus? You told us when it was hitting, she said. Like that was consent. Last Sunday, remember? You said December 15th. Massage Envy direct deposit. Like always. I felt my hands go cold. So, Dad said. We scheduled the transfer from the joint account for Monday morning. It's done. We just need you not to make a fuss about it. There it was. Not a request. A heads up. Wait, I said slowly. You already moved it. The draft is pending, she said, but it's staying in the family. You still live here. We cover your room, your food, your laundry, your car insurance, my car insurance that I pay you for. I cut in. On our policy, she said. So technically, this attitude is exactly why we didn't loop you in sooner, he said. You overreact. You get dramatic. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I looked at Kyle. How much do you owe? I asked. He shrugged, eyes darting away. 40-ish? Ish. The 31 clears the ugly part, Dad said. We'll figure out the rest. And if I say no, Mom gave a soft laugh like I told a joke with bad timing. Sweetheart, be serious. There isn't a no here. You're our son. Kyle is your brother. We keep things smooth. Smooth. My family's favorite word for we already decided don't make us the bad guys. My palms were damp against my jeans. I'm 32. Not 12, but in that kitchen I felt exactly like the kid who used to hand over his birthday money so Dad could keep it safe. Kyle shifted in his seat. Look, man, I swear I'll make it right. You know I've been applying for better jobs. Once I hit something decent, I'll start sending you some every month. Promise. I looked at him for a long second. Who's this guy? I asked. The one you owe. Does it matter? Dad snapped. Yes, I said. If my name is on anything, it matters. It's not, Mom said lightly. It's just cash that needs to move. You'll be fine. You're single, no kids, no real expenses. You can rebuild. Your brother doesn't have your opportunities. There it was. The script. Derek's life is flexible. Derek can absorb anything. My fork clinked on the plate. 1,000, I said again, mostly to hear it out loud. Mom reached over and patted my hand. "You'll make it back," she said. "We need it more than you do." The cruel, reasonable line, delivered in a soft voice. My body wanted to shout, to stand up, to say absolutely not. Instead, I heard myself say very calmly, "Okay." Dad relaxed instantly. "Good. Whatever you need," I added. Mom smiled, relief flooding her face. "See? This is why we always knew you were the responsible one." Kyle mumbled, "Thanks, man." Already back on his phone. I didn't scream. I didn't flip the table. I finished my chicken. I helped clear the plates. I loaded the dishwasher. And at 3:42 p.m., in my small room at the end of the hall, I opened my laptop, logged into my bank, and moved my entire salary to a new account at a different credit union they didn't know existed. My hand shook when I hit confirm. I didn't yell. I moved my money. I'm Derek. I'm 32. I live in Parma, just outside Cleveland, Ohio, in the same split-level house my parents have owned since 1996. Technically, I live in their basement. In reality, it's a half-finished room with a twin bed, a dresser from 2004, and a massage table folded against the wall like a reminder that my real life happens somewhere else. I work full-time as a massage therapist at a franchise clinic off Ridge Road. I do deep tissue, sports, prenatal, all the things. I get $26 an hour plus tips and quarterly bonuses if the branch hits its membership goals. December's bonus was supposed to be my reset, pay down my credit card, put first and last month's rent on a tiny studio, finally stop tripping over my dad's laundry basket on the stairs. Before you ask why a grown man is still living with his parents, here's the short version. In 2002, COVID hit. The spa shut down for months. My hours evaporated and my savings went with them. I moved back for a year max. That was 6 years ago. "We're happy to have you," Mom said back then, "just until things are smooth again." There's that word, smooth. Smooth has meant I pay $900 a month rent, which conveniently matches their mortgage payment. My car is on their insurance because it lowers the rate, but the money comes out of my account. My paycheck has been direct depositing into a joint checking for convenience since I was 17 and got my first job at Subway. Every time I brought up separating my finances, it turned into a performance review. "You think we're going to steal from you?" Dad would ask, offended. Mom would sigh. "You know how bad you are with paperwork, honey. This way, nothing gets missed." Then Kyle would chime in with something like, "Must be nice to have enough money to worry about where to put it." Kyle is 29, my younger brother, the golden retriever with a scratch-off addiction. He's been almost getting his life together since he dropped out of community college. There was the time Dad co-signed a truck for him, and Kyle forgot the payments. The truck got repossessed. Dad got a new ulcer. There was the credit card Kyle just used for gas that mysteriously ended up maxed at $8,700 on DraftKings and FanDuel. Mom said, "We'll pay it down as a family." By we, she meant my bonuses for the next year and a half. There was the time he borrowed $5,000 from me in 2021, promising to pay it back in 3 months after a surefire bet came through. It didn't. When I asked about it later, he laughed. "You're acting like it was a bank loan," he said. "Relax, dude. Family helps family. That's the family language. Smooth. Family helps family. Don't make a scene. Don't be dramatic. We're just moving numbers." I wish I could say I saw it all clearly back then. I didn't. I swallowed it. I told myself, it's temporary. Once I move out, it'll stop. I watched my name slide in and out of conversations about bills I didn't see. "So, the electric is paid, water's paid, Derek's thing cleared," Mom would say on the phone to Dad while I pretended not to listen. I got used to seeing random line items in my bank history with vague memos like hose X EP or transfer. If I asked, there was always a reason. "We covered your dental that year. We bought groceries. We floated you during COVID." The ledger of favors was always tilted in their favor. When I tried to push back, just once, a year ago, after I found a $600 family loan to Kyle in my statement I hadn't agreed to, Mom cried. Actual tears. "I thought we raised you better than this," she said, dabbing her eyes with a paper towel. "Your father and I have sacrificed everything for you boys." Dad just shook his head. Unbelievable. "Kyle, clap me on the shoulder. It's $60, man." It was 600. He always rounds down. "Just until things are smooth again," Mom repeated. I went back downstairs. I opened the Notes app on my phone and typed June 3rd, 2025. $600 family loan to Kyle, moved without consent. I stared at it for a long time, then added, I thought it was temporary. It wasn't. That note turned into a list. Dates, amounts, who said what. Tiny receipts in a folder nobody knew existed but me. Every month I told myself I'd start looking at apartments. Then something would happen. The water heater would go. Kyle would need gas money to get to work. Dad would remind me loudly that this roof is over your head too. I kept working. I kept massaging strangers' knots out of their shoulders while mine calcified. And I kept telling myself, once I get that big December bonus, I'm gone. Apparently, my parents had the same thought. The only difference was where they thought I was going. They thought I was going deeper in with them. Sunday after lunch, I didn't argue. I smiled. I cleared the table. I recycled the beer bottles. I let Dad hug me in the doorway with that firm pat that means, we're done here. Proud of you, he said. You're doing the right thing. Whatever you need, I said again. He grinned. That's my boy. Then I went downstairs, shut my door, and pulled out my receipts folder. Phone notes, screenshots of past transfers, photos of checks for the house I'd written over the years, the email from my manager saying, Congrats, Derek. You're on track for approximately $31,000 bonus this quarter. Should hit 12/15. I took a photo of that email too. Then I opened a new tab and applied for a checking account at Cuyahoga Community Credit Union. It took 9 minutes. Name, address, social, initial deposit. When it asked where the deposit was coming from, I selected payroll/direct deposit and typed in the routing and account number for Massage Envy's HR form. I also unchecked the little box that said, Do you want to link an external account? I changed my direct deposit form online. I printed the confirmation PDF. I emailed it to myself with the subject, New DD, Parents Not Notified. Then I called the 800 number on the back of my debit card. Hi, this is Derek Miller, I said. I need to cancel all scheduled transfers out of my checking, especially anything labeled mortgage or house. The woman on the line was polite. Of course, Mr. Miller. Let me pull that up. There it was. Auto transfer. $2,850.00. Miller Mortgage, first of every month. Cancel, I said. Just to confirm, she asked. You're aware that this will stop payments on the linked mortgage account ending in 2197. I'm aware, I said. That mortgage is not in my name. If they want it paid, they can pay it. I heard my own voice and almost didn't recognize it. It sounded steady. She canceled it. I wrote the date and time down anyway. Sunday night, nothing happened. Monday, I went to work. 8 clients, backs and shoulders, and one guy who always asks for extra deep and then yelps the whole hour. My shoulders ached. My brain hummed. At 4:09 p.m., my phone buzzed. Direct deposit $31,224.58 received from Massage Envy Inc. I took a screenshot. Then I opened my new credit union app. Deposit $31,224.58. My parents' joint account didn't ding. At 4:12 p.m., I got another notification. Scheduled transfer $31,000.00 to external account failed. Insufficient funds. I screenshot that too. I half expected my phone to ring immediately. It didn't. Monday night, silence. Tuesday, Kyle texted me at 11:23 p.m. Bro, you talk. To Mom, I stared at it. About? Idk, she's in a mood. I'm sleeping. Talk tomorrow. I wasn't sleeping. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the muffled sound of my parents' voices upstairs. The tone, low, sharp. The word bonus floated down once. So did, where is it? And he promised. I put my headphones in and turned on white noise. Wednesday morning, everything escalated. At 8:07 a.m., I got a Chase notification. Your account ending in 4,421 attempted an automatic payment of $2,850.00 to Miller Mortgage. Transaction declined. Insufficient funds. I watched the little banner slide off my screen. At 8:09 a.m., Dad called. I let it go to voicemail. At 8:12 a.m., he called again and again. I set my phone face down in my locker and went to work. By my lunch break at 1 p.m., there were 19 missed calls. Dad 10, Mom 5, Kyle 3, home once, 3 voicemails. I plugged my phone into the charger, sat in the break room with my sad turkey sandwich, and pressed play. Voicemail 1, Dad, 8:10 a.m. Derek, What the hell did you do? Call me back. Now. Voicemail 2. Mom, 8:16 a.m. Honey, there's been some kind of mix-up. The payment bounced. The bonus isn't showing. The bank says there's nothing pending. Call us. This isn't funny. Voicemail 3. Dad, 8:23 a.m. Listen, I don't know what game you're playing, but the mortgage is due and Kyle's situation is time sensitive. You gave your word. You will fix this. Call me. I took another bite of my sandwich so I didn't say something out loud. The reasonable cruelty was gone. This was the other tone, the one that meant I'd slipped out of the good son role and into problem to be solved. My thumb hovered over the call button. Then I stopped. I opened my camera instead and took a photo of the missed calls screen. 19 missed calls. 1:07 p.m. March 18th, 26. Receipt. I poured myself a cup of burnt break room coffee and sat there until my timer went off. At 5:30 p.m., I clocked out, sat in my car, and finally hit call back. Derek, Dad, hey, where is it? He demanded. I rested my head against the headrest. Where's what? The money. His voice was sharp enough to cut. The bonus. The transfer bounced. The mortgage bounced. The bookie is blowing up Kyle's phone. Where is the money? I looked at the fading March light on my windshield, the salt smears, my own reflection. Sorry, I said calmly. I'm broke, remember? There was a beat of silence. What? You said Sunday, I reminded him, that you needed it more than I did, that I'd make it back, that I'd be fine because I have no expenses. So I assumed I was broke now. Don't play stupid, he snapped. You changed something. You did something with the account. The bank says the funds never landed. Where did you send it? To my account, I said. My personal one, in my name only. That joint account is your account, he said, incredulous. No, I said. It's yours. With my name attached for convenience, that convenience is over. He actually laughed. It wasn't funny. It was disbelief. You think you can just pull out and leave us hanging? Yes, I said. That's exactly what I think. You selfish little... I let the silence stretch. We had an agreement, he tried again. You said, whatever you need. I did, I said. And what I need is my money in an account you can't touch. You weren't asking me for help, Dad. You were telling me what you'd already done. I just undid it. You're going to fix this, he said finally, voice low. You're going to march into that bank, move that bonus back, and apologize to your mother for scaring her like this. No, I said. The line went very quiet. What did you say? I said no, I repeated. I'm not paying Kyle's gambling debt. I'm not covering your mortgage. I'm done. You're living under my roof, he snarled. You think you're going to sleep in my house while I scramble to keep it? You think you can just cut us off and... That's up to you, I said. If you want to evict me for not giving you $31,000, put it in writing. I'll keep it for my records. Your records, he spat. Is that what this is now? You think some spreadsheet is going to save you when this family is done with you? My heartbeat slowed, weirdly. That's the thing, I said quietly. I think the records are exactly what will save me. I heard him inhale. Derek, he said, switching gears into the bargaining tone, don't do this. You don't understand how serious this is. The man Kyle owes is not my problem, I said. If he's dangerous, call the police. If he's not, Kyle can make a payment plan. Either way, he's not getting my bonus. You're being dramatic, Dad snapped. This is just money. It's my money, I said. Mom's voice cut in like she'd grabbed the phone. Derek, honey, we raised you better than this. You raised me to let you manage my finances, I said. That ends today. You can't just... I'm not arguing about this on the phone, I said. If you have something to say about money from now on, send it in writing. Email, text, whatever. No more verbal agreements. Derek, I have to go, I said. I have an appointment with a client at 7. My time is literally money, and I'm done giving it away for free. I hung up. That's when I stopped arguing and started documenting. You learn a lot about people when you ask them to write things down. That night, the family group chat lit up. Mom, we need to talk. Dad, this stunt you pulled has put us in danger. Kyle, bro, please just fix it this once. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop and typed an email to Mom, Dad, subject, financial boundaries, effective immediately. Hi, Mom and Dad. Per today's phone call, I'm putting my position in writing. For clarity, I will not be paying Kyle's gambling debt. I will not be responsible for your mortgage payments. I have removed my direct deposit and canceled all automatic transfers from the joint account ending in 4,421. Going forward, you do not have my consent to move money out of any account with my name on it without my explicit written permission. Any past transfers I did not authorize, examples March 25th, $06.600 family loan to Kyle, November 24th, $04. 200 Hoos XP are noted for my records. If this creates a housing issue for me, please let me know in writing by April 1st, and I will vacate within 30 days. Derek, I read it 3 times, making sure there were no extra words. No apologies, just facts. Then I hit send. The next day, I took my receipts folder and went to a lawyer. Not a fancy downtown Glass Tower guy. A strip mall Smith & Patel, family law and general practice guy with a plant in the corner and a Keurig in the waiting room. His name was Patel. Late 40s, calm eyes, cheap tie. He flipped through my screenshots, my notes, the printouts I'd made of my bank history. So, he said finally, your parents have been moving money through a joint account and calling it family help. Yes, and there are no written agreements about you paying their mortgage or your brother's debts. No, I said, just guilt. He nodded. Okay, the good news is you don't owe anyone $31,000 just because your father says you do. That's it? Pretty much, he said. If your name's not on the mortgage or your brother's loan, it's not, then you're not legally responsible. And the past transfers? I asked. Where they moved money without my permission? He tapped a pen against the page. Messy, he said. But unless you want to sue your parents, which I'm guessing you don't, I'd treat that as part of why you're setting boundaries now. Going forward, keep everything separate. No more join anything. No access, no logins, no cards. He slid my folder back to me. If they threaten you, document it, he added. If anybody shows up at your job, call the police. And if this bookie ever contacts you directly, call me and the cops in that order. So basically, I said slowly, I'm allowed to stop. He smiled a little. You're allowed to stop, he said. You always were. I walked out with his business card and a weird lightness in my chest that felt almost like grief. Friday night, things detonated. I came home from a late shift to find Dad's truck in the driveway, engine idling. The porch light was on. My mom was on the porch with her arms crossed. Kyle sat on the steps, hoodie up, knee bouncing. As soon as I stepped out of my car, Dad was in my face. You talked to a lawyer? He demanded. I blinked. Hi to you too. He held up his phone. On the screen was my email. Blown up. Financial boundaries, he read. Effective immediately. Yes, I said. Mom's smile was tight. That was uncalled for, Derek. I put in writing what I said on the phone, I replied. That's called being clear. You went to a stranger before coming to your own family, she said. Do you see how hurtful that is? You went to my paycheck before coming to me, I said. Do you see how illegal that is? Dad stepped closer. We are not the villains here, he snapped. Your brother is in danger. Kyle finally spoke. He wants the money by Monday, he said quietly. Or he's coming here. That sounds like a police problem, I said. Kyle stared at me. Are you serious right now? Yes, I said. Dad's voice dropped. If he shows up at this house because you refuse to help, you think we're calling the cops? No, we're telling him where to find you. Mom hissed. Robert. He shrugged. Maybe that'll knock some sense into him. I felt that. Actually felt it. Low and cold. Thank you, I said. For what? He sneered. For saying that out loud. I pulled my phone out and hit record. Derek? Mom started. Say it again, I said. Say you'll send a violent man to my job or my room if I don't give you money. Dad's jaw clenched. Turn that off. I didn't. In the porch light, for the first time in my life, they all looked small, not powerful, just desperate and ugly and cornered. Get inside, Dad said finally. We're not doing this in front of the neighbors. No, I said. We're not doing this, period. I slipped my key off my ring and held it up. You can keep this, I said. Consider it my notice. You're being ridiculous. Mom snapped. Where are you going to go? You can't afford. I already signed a lease, I lied. I'd only toured the place. I'd be signing in the morning. My bonus covers first, last, and a security deposit on a studio in Lakewood. Cheaper than your mortgage. Mom's eyes widened. You'd leave us over money. I'm leaving because you see me as money. I said. Something flickered in Kyle's face. He looked almost ashamed. Then he looked away. Dad shoved his hand toward me. "We're done," he said. "You walk away from this family. Don't come crawling back when your little boundaries blow up in your face." I placed the key in his palm, closed his fingers around it, and said one clean sentence. "I won't be crawling anywhere near you." There was a neighbor out on their porch across the street smoking. The porch light next door clicked on. We had witnesses now, even if they were just bored and nosy. Mom's voice went shrill. "You can't just cut us off like—" "I'm not cutting you off," I said. "I'm unplugging myself. The power bill is on you." I turned, walked down the steps, and got back in my car. Dad shouted my name. Mom called, "Derek, don't you dare drive away." Kyle didn't say anything. As I pulled off, my phone buzzed. "Unknown number. This is Officer Grant with Parma PD. Is this Derek Miller?" I pulled over, hard hammering, and called back. Turned out the bookie had tried to report a stolen payment in my name. The officer was calm, almost bored as he read the complaint. When he finished, he said, "We see this sometimes. Someone tries to drag a family member into their mess. Your name's not on this man's ledger. If he contacts you, block him and call us. You are not responsible for your brother's debt." He paused. "Is your family making you feel like you are?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Get your own place," he said. "Separate account. New address. It'll get louder before it gets quiet. But it will get quiet." Monday morning, I signed the lease on a 400-square-foot studio with peeling paint and the faint smell of old smoke. It was mine. I sent my parents one more email. "Effective today, I no longer live at 214 Maple. Please direct any necessary communication to this email address. I will not discuss money or Kyle's debt by phone or in person." Then I turned off my phone's ringer. The immediate consequence was exactly what Officer Grant promised. Angry calls. Door pounding at my old room. My former neighbor texted a video. Long messages about betrayal and what you're teaching your future kids. I saved them all to the folder, and I didn't go back. 3 months later, my life looked small. Small, but mine. I rent a one-room studio. Loud fridge, mattress on a platform, wobbly table, 2 chairs, my old massage table. On Sundays, I do out-call massages for a few regulars and take cash or Venmo. I taped my first electric bill to the fridge like a gold star. At night, I sit at that table and type numbers into a spreadsheet. Income, rent, groceries, savings. The 31 grand went fast on moving and my card, but every dollar went where I chose. My cousin texted, "Heard about the mortgage? You good?" "I'm okay," I wrote. I just stopped funding them. From what I hear, they refinanced, sold Dad's truck, and handled the bookie without me. Around the 4th, they showed up with lasagna. I didn't buzz them in. Later, I emailed, "I'm not coming back to a house where my money is community property. Access to my money is not a family right."